Okay. How does Finney behave in the Snowball fight? Somebody want to give me a summary or give me a page reference to do some reading? Daniel, want to give me a summary? Betrays everyone. Excellent. 154. Josiah, would you like to read? I believe bottom of 154 to the top of 155.
The fight feared. Finny had recruited me and others as allies, so that two sides fighting it out had been taking form. Suddenly he turned his fire against me. He betrayed several of his other friends. He went over to the other to Brinker's side for a short time, enough to ensure that his betrayal of them would heighten.
Nah, good enough. Although, wait a minute. Cast forward a little bit. What happens at the end? Read that.
We ended the fight in the only way possible. All of us turned on Finny.
And keep going.
Slowly, we had steadily widening grid. He was driven down beneath the blizzard of snowballs. When he had surrendered, I bent cheerfully over to help him up, seizing his wrist to stop the final treasure snowball he had ready. And he remarked, "Well, I guess that takes care of the Hitler Youth outing for one day."
I didn't need the Hitler Youth. I needed the image of Finney falling under a hail of snowballs. I think that's a pretty potent ending image. Yeah? Good. Thank you very much. Question number 2. What does this say about Finney's suitability for the war? Jasmine? Why not? Jasmine, why would a snowball fight have anything to do with war? Why are we taking this incident to tell us something about his suitability for war?
Because maybe when he's in actual war, he might get turned against his own allies or whatever.
What we have here is a metaphor. Can somebody tell me what a metaphor is? Sarah? Not necessarily totally opposites. That's right, comparing two different things without using the word like or as. And the two different things means this stands in for this. Sarah, they're not complete opposites because they must have something in common. What do the snowball fight and the war have in common? Competition, sides, a winner, and they're all both militaristic, right? There's ammunition, there's weaponry. So we have a metaphor for war. A metaphor for war. Forgive the rhyme there. If it's a metaphor for war, Josiah, what is happening in that final image? Finney's losing, but furthermore, if we extend that this is war, what's happening to Finney? He's being shot. By whom? Everybody. Why? Because he doesn't understand the concept of sides. And he goes back and forth. Does anybody remember this being developed earlier in the novel? This trend in his character. Blitzball. What about Blitzball? Everyone, does anybody remember specifically how he characterized it? We are all what? We are all enemies. And nobody can win. And what does Finney not understand about sports? He doesn't understand a winner and a loser. Everybody has fun. Everybody goes out there. And now, we've seen this before, but now with the snowball fight, Knowles draws it as a metaphor for war. There's one other, and Jake, I see your hand, I'll get to you in just a moment. There's one other little detail that really emphasizes we're talking about war. Where does this happen? Where does this happen? Right next to the woods. In the fields right next to the woods. What did the woods mean for Leper? The war. Do you see how everything just sort of comes together in this novel? How one piece of information, the symbolic importance of the woods as war for Leper, is now the symbolic importance of the woods as war for Finney. Jake, your hand.
Yeah, when Finny breaks his leg the second time and he's in the hospital, and he admits to Jean that he wanted to go to war.
What does Jean say about him?
He says that he wouldn't be good in war, like if he would be against them.
And he'd be trying, I believe he said something like trying to get a baseball game together between the two sides.
They would use them for sports.
That's right. Not understanding he wouldn't see he wouldn't see Germans on the other side of that line. What would he see on the other side of that line? Other 18-year-old boys.
That sort of happened a lot in War II.
It would make sense, wouldn't it? How does this compare or contrast with Lepers' experience? Jasmine? He wasn't prepared for war either. Jasmine, what part of war was he not prepared for? What caused Lepers' big problem when he was in boot camp? I like that echo. Adjusting to what, Robbie?
Like his schedule.
The schedule. He couldn't even figure out the schedule. That's right. Sleeping, eating, he couldn't adjust. Leper could not adjust. That's right, neither can you. I understand. We're all on that right now. Leper could not adjust. Finny cannot adjust. They cannot adjust their attitudes to the war. Okay, folks, what are we talking about here? Speak it louder, Josiah. Josiah, what is the line from chapter 9? Multiple rhymes today. The line from chapter 9. Anybody know, have a direct quotation? Anybody have a page reference? Come on.
I had in my paper. I think it's 150. Yeah, it's in my paper.
Nope. 125. Read the line for me, Connor. Just the single sentence that seems to provide perspective on everything.
Only the things and people who've been involved in the Great Way survive.
That's,
I got it.
what is it?
Everything has to evolve or else it perishes.
Everything has to evolve or else it perishes. Direct quote. Now, Connor, you pulled something from the overall discussion, but if we want to pull one line, one single principle, everything has to evolve or else it perishes. So, somebody use that to talk about how Leper and Finny are basically the same. Yes, Josiah.
They can't change. They can't become different people to cope with the war.
Therefore, they have to perish. How does Leper die? Mentally. How does Finny die? Physically. Now, he's dying metaphorically, right? He's dying metaphorically, and very soon he will die literally. Connor.
Just wondering, is leper, like his name, supposed to symbolize anything about him?
Well, it looks very similar to Leper, doesn't it?
Well, I thought leper was a disease.
It is true, yeah. So leper also indicates his nature as an outcast, because he seems to be the nerdy little kid that lives apart. He's a social outcast a little bit, even though he's not totally. So leper both indicates that, and it seems very similar to Leper, and we know he's the first one to jump into war. So there are a couple things going on with names. Did we already discuss other names? What's Jean's last name? Nobody know Jean's last name? No, that's Quackenbush. No, you don't have to look for it. His last name is Forrester.